Lymphatic capillaries are going to merge to form what are called lymphatic vessels. So these have a little bit of a larger diameter than the capillaries. They're going to resemble small veins because they have all three of those vascular tunics. So the lymphatic capillaries only had the one tunic, which is the endothelium, but the lymphatic vessels have all three vascular tunics, and they also possess valves, which are going to help them also resemble the veins. Remember, the valves are going to ensure that the fluid only travels in one direction. Specific vessels that are going to enter or exit a lymph node are called afferent and efferent. The word afferent means towards, and the word efferent means away from. So the lymph is going to enter the lymph, or the lymphatic vessels are going to enter the lymph node, bringing in lymph to it. And the lymph node is where the immune system is going to mount a response. And then the efferent lymphatic vessels transport the filtered lymph away from the lymph node. This is showing those various trunks as well as ducts. So the vessels lead into the trunks, and there are specific trunks named for where they're located at in the body. For example, this is a jugular trunk, subclavian trunk, bronchomediastinal trunk, lumbar trunk. It's not important for you to know the names of the specific trunks. Just know that the trunks lead into the ducts. So as far as the ducts, we have two major ducts. We have the right lymphatic duct, and we also have the thoracic duct. One of the big differences here is that the thoracic duct returns lymph into circulation from the left arm and the left thorax, as well as the lower body. The right lymphatic duct returns lymph from the right arm and the right thorax to circulation. I'll put left thorax over here for the thoracic duct. The cisterna chyli is going to be the entrance point for the thoracic duct. And on the cadaver model over here, you actually can see labeled the thoracic duct. So this is showing the lymphatic drainage for different parts of the body. And basically, the largest region of the body is drained by the thoracic duct. So anywhere basically below this line. So the abdomen, the right leg, and the left leg, any of the lymphatic capillaries from any of those regions, as well as the left head, left thorax, and left arm, all of that lymphatic fluid is going to travel through lymph nodes, lymphatic vessels, lymphatic trunks, and will eventually go back to the thoracic duct before it enters into the left subclavian vein. For any of the lymph that drains from the right arm or right thorax or right head, all of that lymph fluid is going to travel through lymph nodes, lymphatic vessels, lymphatic trunks, and will eventually go back into the right lymphatic duct, where it's going to re-enter circulation through the right subclavian vein. So this means that any of the lipids or lipid-soluble material from the abdominal cavity that's drained through the small intestines is going to enter through lacteals and will eventually travel into the thoracic duct for processing. So the lymphatic ducts are going to form from the fusion of the lymphatic trunks. And then those trunks are going to lead to either the right lymphatic duct or the thoracic duct. So that's what we call it instead of the left lymphatic duct. So that term's not really used. It's replaced by the thoracic duct. So the right lymphatic duct is going to return lymph at the junction of the right subclavian and the internal jugular veins. So it's important for you to remember that it returns lymph from the right side of the head and neck, the right upper limb, and the right side of the thorax. The thoracic duct is going to collect lymph from most of the body, excluding the right lymphatic duct drainage. So it passes through the diaphragms, the aortic opening, returns lymph into the junction between the left subclavian and jugular vein. So lymphoid cells are going to be cells that are very particular to perform an immune response. Some of those cells are what are called antigen-presenting cells, abbreviated as APC, and their job is to present that antigen to the lymphocyte. The lymphoid cell types are going to include macrophages, which are derived from those monocytes. When monocytes leave blood circulation, they go into the tissues and they become macrophages. Macrophages are phagocytic, which means they're going to engulf foreign substances, kind of like that Miss Pac-Man would engulf those power pellets in the Miss Pac-Man game. And these macrophages may act as antigen presenter cells. The next group of cells are called dendritic cells, and dendritic cells are going to internalize antigens, and they are the main antigen presenting cells. So the first two, the macrophages and the dendritic cells, may act as antigen presenting cells. The last group would be the lymphocytes, and these are the most abundant lymphoid cells. There's 3 types of lymphocytes, each with a specific job in an immune response. Those types of lymphocytes are T lymphocytes or T cells, B lymphocytes or B cells, and natural killer cells. So the main goal of the immune system is destruction and inactivation of pathogens and foreign material. The T lymphocytes, they're going to develop immunocompetence in the thymus. The word immunocompetence basically means it's the ability to recognize a foreign invader. So separate self from non-self. And in order for these cells to become immunocompetent, they go through various tests in the tissue. And if they're not immunocompetent, then they are destroyed. The B cells also develop immunocompetence, but they do this in the red bone marrow. And you should know that the T cells develop in the thymus and the B cells develop in the red bone marrow. The third group of lymphocytes is called a natural killer cell. And then all 3 of these are going to migrate throughout the lymphatic system and search for harmful antigens. And a lot of them, especially B lymphocytes, are going to hang out in the lymph nodes. This slide is showing the different groups of antibodies that we have present. And the word antibody means that it's called an immunoglobulin. There's 5 different classes. There is an IgM, IgA, IgD, IgG, and IgE. The IgM is the first bacteria that interacts with new bacteria that enters the body, and it initiates the primary immune response. The IgAs are present in a lot of our bodily fluids, including blood, lymph, saliva, tears, as well as breast milk. The IgD antibodies are rare, and they're present on the surface of immature B cells. The IgG is the most common, and it's an abundant antibody present in the body. The IgEs are the least common, and they're most effective against parasite infections.